So we're taking some time now to look at your summative assessment data and see how your students did on the exit card that you gave them at the end of the lesson series.
Right.
So we have them all sorted out. So what group is this?
So we have our advanced and proficient group, meaning they got 13, 14, 15, or 16 points out of 16.
Okay.
And I was really excited to see that I had 18 kids in that section.
Oh, good.
And then
I have just a few in this one.
Basic means they got 10, 11, or 12 points.
Okay.
And I have 3 in that category.
Okay.
We didn't have any below basic.
Okay.
And then far below basic, I have
let's
kids
see how
from
many
1
are
to
here.
6.
3, 6 of them here.
6 of them there.
Let's see, what was your measurable outcome?
I wanted 80% of my students to be, I wanted 80% of my students to score 13 or better.
Okay.
But I have 70% of my students that scored a 10 or better.
Okay. So if you put all these together, that would be about 70% of your students.
Yeah, but that's not 13 points like I wanted. That's 10 to 16. So really, 18, let me calculate, 18 out of 30, I think would give me 60%. Let me double check. Which would be how many kids scored the 13 points that I wanted.
Okay, so this is about how much? 60%?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then if you include these 3 basic kids,
all of these together,
which
would
are
be
really
70.
close. Look, 12 out of 16. What would that bring the percentage up to?
It would bring it up to 70%.
About 70%.
So we would need to reword that to 70%. Well, not reword it, but in my outcome,
you would just reflect. Okay.
Yeah, 70% scored a 10 or better.
So this would be just what you reported. So we'll just report that there was 60% that were advanced proficient, 70% if you include the basic.
Right.
Okay.
And these basic kids.
What if we compared, and we will when we do the summit or the reflection, but if you compared this to their pre-test, tell me about the growth that you see in these students.
Well, right away, I know this student, right off the top of my head, he has improved a lot. He got the entire right side of the column correct. The ones he was having trouble with, I'm surprised he had trouble with the 25%. But it looks like from the 50, he moved the decimal instead of dividing by 2. So he's trying to use those strategies, and you can see here he was using the benchmark percent.
Right.
So at least he has a strategy to go to, and at the first one, he barely filled anything out.
Okay.
This kid was really cool.
Wow.
He told me, he said, oh, all I need to do is get the 20%, and then I multiply by 2, and so on to get the rest.
Okay.
20 times 2 is 40.
Wow.
But then he went 40 times 2 and got the 60 instead of adding.
Okay.
So he got that pattern, and had I been over his shoulder saying, is that really what you should have been doing? He would have caught it and gone, oh, okay, and he would have been in this group.
Okay.
And then here, I was so excited. This student is super low, and I was so excited to see that he finally caught on to a strategy. And getting a 10 for him is huge. I was really expecting him to be in this group.
Oh, good. The far below group.
So excited that he got here.
So close.
He filled out 2 or 3, and he was nowhere on that first one.
On the entry level. Okay.
So I was really excited for him for that.
All right, so that's a pretty large group then. So 18, 19, 21 students out of how many
30
altogether? Okay. So then we have no one in the below basic, and then we have these few here in the far below basic. So tell me what you think about this group.
Let's look. So I was telling you, first of all, this student really surprised me.
Okay. This is not a traditional expected score for her.
She is one of my leaders. She's getting 107% in my class.
Wow.
She is constantly helping other people learn how to do it. She had all her strips right. She had the hardest strip that I gave out. And then she comes up with this. I don't understand if she was trying to finish the fastest or. Okay. I'm so confused. So that one is I almost want to throw that out and give it to her again because this doesn't make sense to me.
So you don't think this is a good measure of what she really knows?
No, I'm really surprised about that. This one, he tries to do things really fast. He's very competitive and likes to finish before everyone else. He was probably the 3rd person done. And had I said, you need to check your work, he might have done a little bit better.
Okay.
So even though he is in the far below basic, he still got the highest score of the far below basic group. And I think he could do better than this. I just don't. He's one of those kids that didn't put as much effort into it as I think they should have.
Okay.
This doesn't surprise me. She's been low all year, and I've been working really hard with her. Mom got her a tutor. She's been in tutoring with another teacher here on campus.
Okay.
She comes to me before school. I've let her retake tests. We're doing all we can for her, and she's having a hard time. This student never pays attention. It doesn't surprise me that he's here. He has a lot of home issues going on that have deterred his attention from academics, unfortunately. And so, again, I might allow him to redo this in a quieter, more one-on-one setting and see how he does. And really the same with these two students also. This student has an IEP, and we are working with her on things like this. Again, not surprising for either of them. I might offer them to redo it in a smaller setting.
So how do these compare with the first one they did? The entry level. So
they're at least trying.
Okay, so they do have at least some work on the paper.
Well, and they realize, like, here is that thing we talked about with my EL student, is he put 8, but it should be 85.
Okay.
So he's kind of close. He at least got the 100%. Yay. She didn't even get the 100%, so I'm not really sure where she's coming from on these. But they're trying. They're attempting them.
The other thing I was wondering is this as an exit card is informal by its nature.
Right.
I'm wondering if some of these students that you're really surprised about, like this one, if this were a more serious, formal assessment, if she would have done better.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe even if the problems weren't any more challenging.
Right.
So, the informal assessment is good to gather some data to help you plan your instruction, but it may not be the only tool that you want to use to really see if they're proficient.
Right.
That's why we use all those multiple measures so that we can see, different strategies or different successes that they have.
Yeah.
So maybe just by the nature of this being informal, she didn't try as hard.
Yeah. I think maybe I would give her and this student the test again and just say, you need to really show me what you know. I think you rushed on the last one, and see what they come up with. These other kids that are struggling, I'm going to have to provide some kind of intervention for them, because this is
at the end of a series of lessons.
At the end of a series, this is 6 to 7 weeks on percentages, and they're still not quite getting it. So I need to find some other ways to
so maybe some
support
small
them.
Group or some other strategies to help them.
Yeah, but the rest of the students, I'm pretty much ready to move on,
Good.
which I'm excited about, because that's where I needed to be at this point.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So you're on track.
Yep.
So it sounds like you have some good data from this information that you can use to plan some of your next steps.
Yep, I will.
All right, great. Thanks a lot.